Ben Shephard has always been someone people trust, the kind of presence that feels reassuring, familiar, and quietly uplifting. Whether he's smiling into the camera or sharing a laugh with those around him, there's a warmth to him that audiences have connected with for years. But recently, that warmth carried a deeper layer, one shaped by reflection, emotion, and a moment of honesty that touched countless hearts. For a long time, Ben chose to keep certain feelings close, not because he didn't care, but because some moments are too personal to rush into words. And when he finally did speak, it wasn't dramatic, it wasn't rehearsed. It was calm, sincere, and unmistakably real. He spoke about loss, not with heavy language, but with grace. He reflected on how certain moments in life quietly change us, how they remind us to slow down, to appreciate the people who matter most, and to say the things we often assume we'll say later. There was a gentleness in his voice and a softness in his expression that viewers immediately noticed. This wasn't the Ben Shephard people usually see on screen. This was Ben as a husband, a father, a human being navigating emotions that don't come with instructions. Annie stood beside him, steady and supportive. Her presence didn't need words. Sometimes love shows itself not through speeches, but through simply being there, listening, understanding, and offering silent strength. The way they looked at each other spoke volumes. It was partnership in its purest form. What made the moment especially moving was the way Ben balanced emotion with warmth. Even while reflecting on serious feelings, he found space for lightness. A small smile, a gentle joke, a reminder that laughter and love often walk hand in hand, even during reflective times. He shared how moments like these make you rethink priorities, how success means little if it isn't shared with the people you care about, how gratitude becomes louder when life reminds you how precious time really is. Viewers felt it immediately. Messages poured in from people who didn't just admire him as a presenter, but connected with him as a person. Parents, partners, friends, many saw their own experiences reflected in his words. Not because the story was extreme, but because it was familiar. There was romance in the honesty. Not the kind found in dramatic gestures, but the kind that lives in mutual respect, quiet understanding, and shared resilience. Watching Ben and Annie together reminded people that strong relationships aren't built on perfection, they're built on presence. And yes, there were smiles too. Ben's natural charm never fully disappeared. Even in a reflective moment, his humor peeked through, gently lifting the atmosphere. It was a reminder that joy doesn't vanish during emotional times, it simply becomes more meaningful. What made this confession powerful wasn't what was said, but how it was said. There was no rush, no performance, just a man choosing honesty over silence and connection over distance. Fans described feeling comforted rather than saddened, inspired rather than overwhelmed, because this wasn't about loss alone. It was about appreciation, love, and moving forward with intention. Ben spoke about how moments like these deepen relationships, how they encourage conversations that matter, how they remind us to check in with one another even when everything seems fine on the surface. Annie's quiet support continued to ground the moment. Her calm presence added warmth, reminding viewers that no one has to face life's emotional turns alone. There was something undeniably beautiful about seeing vulnerability handled with such care. It felt respectful, it felt real, and most of all, it felt human. As the conversation unfolded, it became clear that this wasn't an ending, it was a turning point, a reminder to live more openly, love more fully, and speak more honestly. Audiences weren't drawn in by drama, they were drawn in by sincerity. Ben Shephard has spent years being a familiar face in people's daily lives. In this moment, he wasn't just someone on a screen, he was someone sharing a piece of his heart. And in doing so, he created a connection that went beyond entertainment. The excitement now comes from what this moment represents: a renewed sense of gratitude, a deeper appreciation for family, a reminder that strength and softness can exist together. If this story resonates with you, if you believe that real moments matter, take it as a gentle reminder to reach out to someone you care about, to share a laugh, to say what's been sitting quietly in your heart. Because sometimes the most meaningful confessions aren't about shocking revelations. They're about honesty, love, and the courage to speak when it matters most.